Welcome to the channel, everyone. I'm German Eagle, and today we're going to be doing another best class setup video for Infinite Warfare. Today looking at my favorite submachine gun in the game, the ERAD. In today's gameplay I'm using the Ascendant variant, which is going to add even more range to our gun, which is absolutely awesome because we're using a submachine gun and we're not going to be having that range of an assault rifle. The other really great thing about this variant is that it's just a common. This means just about every one of you will have this already to use in your arsenal. So now let's move on to the attachments that we actually are going to be using on this weapon. Firstly, we're going to be using a particle amp, which is going to add even more range to our weapon, and if we are using the Ascendant variant, this is going to stack with that and give even more range. The second attachment that we're going to be running is a silencer. This is going to ensure that we stay off the radar when firing and we're able to flank our enemies, go into their spawns, and they'll never know what's coming. There's no real noticeable damage drop-off when using a silencer on this class, as we have already added a particle amp on there, so they kind of cancel each other out. The third attachment that we're going to be running is quick draw, and this is pretty standard on all my classes, as you always want to be able to get the jump on those gunfights on your enemy. Overall, I feel the ERAD is a very accurate weapon with very clean iron sights, so I don't feel a foregrip or any precision sights are needed on this weapon. This gun even has a little built-in dot right on there, so you don't need to add anything. Also, with this class setup, we're not going to be using any lethals or any tacticals. It's all about the gun and making it stronger through the perks and attachments. So the first perk that we're going to be using with this setup is Ghost. Ghost is absolutely essential for just about every class setup in this game, as so many people are using UAVs, and this will keep you off the radar whenever they're called in. The second perk that we're going to be using from the first slot is Dexterity. With Dexterity, we're going to be reloading our weapon faster as well as swapping with our secondary faster. Even though we're using an energy weapon which will slowly replenish its ammo over time, we want to use Dexterity to reload as fast as possible so that we can rush in and be ready for the next gunfight. Swapping weapons faster is also going to be very useful. Although we're not using a secondary weapon in this class setup, I highly recommend you pick up a weapon off the field to use as your secondary whenever you get the opportunity. The third perk that we're going to be using in this setup is Hardline. Hardline is probably the most valuable perk you can choose from that second tier of perks. When using Hardline, you're going to be earning an additional 25 score every time you get a kill. What this means is you're going to be getting your score streaks a lot faster and a lot easier, and in turn, you're going to be racking up the kills. The only other perk that I would recommend using from that second tier is Scavenger. With Scavenger, you're going to be replenishing your ammo, and it's going to help you go for those long gun streaks, and especially if you're going for a deatomizer strike. For this class setup, though, we don't need Scavenger, as we're going to be using the Merc rig. With the Merc rig, we're going to have full ammo capacity, which means we don't need Scavenger. But if you're someone that does like to use a different style rig, I do recommend going for Scavenger. For the final perk that we're going to be using in the third tier, it's going to be Dead Silence. With Dead Silence, our footsteps are going to be a lot quieter, which means it's going to be a lot easier for us to pick up where our enemies are coming from, and we won't have to hear the clunking of our own feet getting in the way. Where this perk is going to really shine, though, is if you're using a headset. You're really going to know exactly where your enemy is coming from. And as well, a lot of your opponents are going to be using headset as well, so with the Dead Silence, it's going to make it that much more difficult for them to find you. When it comes down to the rig that we'll be using for this class setup, I feel there's only really two in the game that are worth using, and that's Synaptic or the Merc. For myself personally, though, I always find myself coming back to the Merc. It's just so useful to have the Man-at-Arms trait, which means you're not going to be running out of ammo, you don't have to use Scavenger and waste another perk slot. As well, you're going to have Reactive Armor, which is going to help you for those testy situations when you engage a large amount of enemies and ensure that you come out on top. Score streaks are also going to be a bit of a personal preference, depending also on what game mode you're playing. The one that I absolutely recommend running, though, is a UAV. A UAV is the easiest score streak to obtain, and it tells you exactly where your enemies are. The second score streak that I like to run is the Vulture. The Vulture is great because it hovers above you and has your back. This can definitely be the difference maker in you making it towards your final score streak. If I'm playing a different game mode such as Domination, I may switch out this score streak to something like the Scorchers. With the Scorchers, I'll be able to lay waste to enemies who are trying to capture a flag while I'm on the other side of the map. The third score streak I pretty much always like to run is the Warden. The Warden provides heavy fire from the sky and can definitely take out quite a few enemies, and it's not that too difficult of a score streak to obtain. For me personally, I don't like to run score streaks that I have to control. I rather be having something cover my back while I'm running around with my gun taking down enemies. Overall, I've been having an absolute blast with this class setup. The E-Rad is an absolutely amazing gun and has become my favorite submachine gun in the entire game. This gun absolutely melts up close with its high rate of fire, and it also does well against assault rifles at range with its low recoil and accurate firing. We also recently saw a buff to submachine guns where it increased the aim assist at range. This is absolutely great as submachine guns are now becoming more relevant in the game, and it's not going to be dominated by assault rifles quite as much as it was before. Just remember that you still are using a submachine gun and you don't want to go running into every single engagement. You're going to want to play smart and pick your battles that are well suited for your weapon. An important thing to remember is there's no shame in running away and regrouping if need be. You want to always make sure you're engaging the enemy on your own terms so that you come out on top on the gunfight. Having that mindset will go perfect with this class as you'll be stealthy and aggressive, and you'll see those scores soon go through the roof. My name is German Eagle. I hope you all enjoyed the video today. If you did, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe as it will really help the channel grow. Thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.